Hello, my name is Jeffrey Paris, and the system I will be evaluating for this assignment is the DC Archives website. This site hosts all the digitized documents for DC's Office of Public Records. It is also a hub for all the necessary links for requesting information, whether it be a birth or death certificate or other government records concerning the city's history. For the most part, this site covers all its bases with respect to usability and user friendliness. Its biggest setback, and the basis on which I will be providing feedback and suggestions, is the overall aesthetic of the website. They are bound by the generally poor user interface design that is evident on almost all DC government sites. The Office of Public Records is a division of the Office of the Secretary. Quote, the Office of Public Records schedules, collects, stores, and manages records of the district government through the services of the District of Columbia Archives, Record Center, and the Library of Government Information. These repositories hold a wide array of documents that include administrative, architectural, engineering, fiscal, genealogical, historical, and legal records. The office also surveys, appraises, and schedules records, accessions records into the archives, record center, and library of information, services, records, and research requests from agencies of the government and the public, refiles and relocates records in the repositories, and disposes records that have met the terms and conditions of the schedules. Accessing the information in the massive database is fairly simple. The search is mainly a keyword search with the option of the advanced Boolean type search. Along with keywords pulling relevant searches based on the title, the system they use scans the digitized item and identifies the keywords in the document as well. The system functions as intended with very few hiccups for anyone conducting research. The keyword search and Boolean search work as intended, and any issues that arise from conducting a search can be fixed by refining the query with the advanced search tool. As stated previously, the only major setback is the design of the site. It deviates a bit from the majority of many of the DC.gov sites, but is still bound by the lack of innovation in the user interface of these sites. Based on the usability heuristics of interface design, the platform falls short in two key ways: error prevention and aesthetic and minimalist design. As for error prevention, the site is cluttered with lots of information available to the user for them to be able to navigate the massive database. An issue with this is the amount of user knowledge required to fix a mistake when conducting a search. For the people that are inexperienced with using a keyword or Boolean search, it is easy to reach a dead end if a mistake is made on the user end. If the user makes a mistake, there is nothing there to show them how to refine their search to find an answer that is useful to their research. The previous slide was the keyword search / Boolean search under the advanced search page. Now here we are on the finding aids page, and one thing that's great about this DC government website is that there's more than one way to reach a given page. I could go find the finding aids through the home page, through the drop-down menu. So there's not a single path that needs to be taken to get to this page. It's pretty straightforward in its design, but again, if you're an inexperienced researcher navigating this site or this page specifically, you could reach a dead end if you misspell a word or put too many attributes to specify your search. A number of things that would set you back because you reach a dead end and not know necessarily why. And there's nothing that will tell you reach a dead end except for a blank error page. Nothing that would suggest you took a different path or anything like that. The same is said about this page, which is more a collection of is a broad page where you can browse the entire collection that the DC Archives houses on their website. But the same issue is faced here. If you put too many parameters in your search function, you may come up with nothing. And then your best bet would be just to click through every single one of those results. And that's not a very practical way to do research, because you may not be pulling documents from the same family. You could be going through government documents to photographs to land records to a birth certificate, and there's no way to sift through that in an efficient manner as an inexperienced researcher. As stated before, the website's problem with its design is in part due to the constraints of it being part of the DC government network of sites. One suggestion I would offer to set itself apart from the monotony that are the DC.gov sites is to present the information on the site like a museum. Pages opening with photos of the many historical figures whose names and likeness are stored in the archive. A future project for the archive would be to organize all the available digital information into smaller, more digestible collections that allow more casual researchers to use the site. The only drawback to this is finding the balance between an enjoyable user experience and a site that functions best for historians and researchers. When designing government websites, it is important to have a through line when it comes to aesthetics. The main issue so far, as was reviewed previously, is that the family of DC government websites seem to be outdated in terms of their user interface design. When looking into the future, it is important to consider the heuristic design principles, specifically the ones mentioned above, to best design a site that people would want to use and feel comfortable using. The only thing you have to worry about is the fine line you walk when creating a repository for historical information. It is important to walk the line between aesthetics and entertainment, and being able to properly assess and display historical information in a way that does not distort its importance. Just to get an idea of the through line of aesthetics that is the DC.gov web design, here's the homepage DC.gov, which you can see looks fairly similar to the Office of Public Records site, where you have a drop-down menu on the top with the logo on the side, and in this case, a scrolling menu of different services that the city offers. But this is the baseline design for most DC government sites. This page is the DCPS government site, DC Public Schools website. And you see there's that similar design, which is the logo on the upper left-hand side, a search menu, and the drop-down menu with photos beneath it. This is the standard for DC government websites that has been used in place since the year 2014. It's been 12 years, and the user interface design has not been changed at all since then. The next step would be something like this. This is a newer DC government website, the Open Data DC, and this is an idea of what DC.gov websites could look like. It still has the same drop-down menu and the logo, but it looks more streamlined, looks more modern. The next step in updating all the DC government websites would involve changing the layout of all the DC government sites to create some continuity in their design, according to their, and I'm repeating this, according to their remote user interface guide and the online style guide. The standards for design have been used in 2014. The sites work well for communicating the necessary information for the constituents of the DC government, but it does not adhere well to the principles of design that make websites both informational and easy to use. Updating the user interface guide to fit these design principles will make the experience of using these sites more enjoyable for all who need to navigate them.